Welcome back to the podcast. This is episode number 2 of the Gabagalooza Entertainment Variety Podcast. I'm Murph, also known as Murph Dog, also known as Matt, depending on what the hell you want to call me. I really don't care. It's either one of those 3 names, with my other host, A to the Diz.
Also known as Mr. Non-Clutch. What's going on, everybody? I hope you all enjoyed your Super Bowl weekend. Hope you enjoyed your Super Bowl weekend. I gotta tell you, it was certainly a wild weekend for us. We started off with a dear friend's wedding, right? And then, we went to Medieval Times on Saturday.
Yeah, oh my god, that was so much fun.
And we had the Super Bowl on Sunday, which came with a lot. There was a lot of controversy behind the late ending of the game. And to break it down, there was a holding penalty called on James Bradbury on Juju Smith-Schuster of the Chiefs, and unfortunately they called a holding call, and James Bradbury, the defender for the Eagles, he did admit that he did tug his jersey and that he was hoping that they were going to let it slide, but when it's that late in a game, in the Super Bowl, in the game that matters in that Super Bowl, because frankly, in my opinion, 72 total points in a Super Bowl. That was all we could ask for.
I know.
The Super Bowl. And to see it end like that was definitely tough.
Yeah, it was tough for most fans because obviously you want the thrill to be the part ending of the game, and having a blown freaking bullshit call like that. I mean, it literally dampers the whole atmosphere and the whole mood of it. So I completely understand where fans are going at it, and it's just unfortunate.
Unfortunately, it's all rigged. They handed out the scripts. That was in the script. It's okay.
The refs are just dog shit.
So the winner of the Super Bowl was the Kansas City Chiefs at a score of 38-35, and Patrick Mahomes, MVP winner this year, ends up winning the Super Bowl MVP. I definitely think it was well deserved. That late scramble that he had to secure that first down, and near that 2-minute warning, I believe it was the 20-plus yard scramble by Mahomes. I tell you, that was the play of the game that secured the game for them. Even though if that holding penalty might have never gotten called, who knows? We might not, have seen the game go the same way. We might have seen it go the same way.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's hard to consider what could have happened, but that was definitely the moment that game was secured, in my opinion.
Yeah.
With the penalty, it is what it is. But I gotta ask, what do you think some key players in that game?
I mean, listen, like, first half, I mean, I didn't think he'd get the ball, but Kelsey was getting the ball. And he pretty much, was the Kansas City's offense for the first half of the majority of it. And Mahomes, and, I mean, I wanted to point out, when he had initially hurt his ankle again on one of the scrambles that he tried to get out of, and one of the D linemen he literally just landed right on the foot again. And
Yep.
I mean, thankfully for him, he was all right, and he was back out there again. And quite frankly, he had a better second half than that first half.
Agreed.
Because the Eagles' offense owned the first half.
Well, I tell you what, Eagles owned that first half. You're absolutely right. But then Rihanna, wives are calling her and saying that she's the real MVP of the Super Bowl. Her performance was great. Congratulations
great.
to
I
her
liked
and
it.
ASAP. It was. I love Riri.
Yeah, I've always liked Rihanna
I mean,
too.
she has just bop after bop after bop.
I know, like I don't really.
It's
not
a lot of stuff that we want to listen to. So, definitely agreed on that. But that was a lot of time for Mahomes to get wrapped up, get some meds.
Oh, for sure. Oh my God,
and be able to poise himself to get back out there.
Do you imagine how much? Like, probably, like, how much shit they just shot in him.
I mean,
and wrapped him up with. God.
I had actually thought to myself, I had pondered it last night with Ashley, and I said, I wonder what they would do. Would they give him an IV and then, inject them with pain fluids that way to try to get it in quicker? But then how would you monitor that by the NFL?
Yeah.
So I'm not entirely sure how they were able to get that pain meds into him, but...
Yeah,
or if it just felt better after
or it actually, like after like maybe a massage, or maybe they gave him a cortisone. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but giving him a lot of time, and giving that team a lot of time, they can come from behind very, very easily. We talked about that, last week, but Mahomes wasn't the only guy that won them the game. Neither was Kelsey.
Yeah.
Kelsey had a great game. He was blowing up in the first half. They were more silent in the second half when it came to passing. I, on a prop bet last night, I missed on all my bets because Mahomes didn't throw for 225.
He didn't.
He had about 113 after the first half.
Yeah, the Chiefs' offense barely had any offensive possession that first half, and even in the second half as well. You looked at the stats between Hurts and Mahomes, like the amount of attempts and completions that Hurts made was the same percentage as Mahomes, but he just had way more chances than Mahomes did. Mahomes was at least able to capitalize on the majority of his throws.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we gotta think about this. That call at the end of the game wasn't the only reason the Eagles lost. They could not stop that Chiefs offense at all. They could not stop on. They gave up the biggest play in special teams history in the Super Bowl. It's like the longest punt return in Super Bowl history. I mean,
that punt return was crazy. I remember
and Kadarius Toney. He was a big part in that game. He scored a touchdown, and he was wide open when he did so.
Oh yeah, I remember that punt return. That was crazy. Like I remember I was watching it with my dad, right? And he gets it, and he was pretty much in like the thick of it for a little bit. And my dad was like, "Oh, just go down. You're gonna hurt yourself." Which we'll get into in a minute. We'll get to the field in a minute.
Absolutely.
But he was literally trying to run out of this scrum, and then suddenly he just gets out of it by the skin of his teeth, and then he just had a wall of defenders.
I mean, literally, I watched the Pat McAfee show today, and they showed a good graphic of the punt return. Every Chiefs defender was on the right side of the field, everybody, including the placeholder, like the snapper, everybody was on that right side of the field, and every one of the Eagles was going at him, and all he had to do was cut back about maybe 10 yards, and he had that wall.
Yeah, I'm
defenders.
literally just looking at it right now, and remember, he barely caught the football.
Yeah.
He caught it on the ground, basically.
Yeah.
He caught it at the shoelaces, and he literally had just gone to the left, and like you said, all the defenders were on the right side.
Yep.
Hopefully, if he had that time to cut back, because he cut back about 5 or 10 yards when he got out of the thick of it, because literally all the Eagles defenders were on that left side at the 40, and then he literally just cut back 5 or 10, and then he had that wall, and he was home free. Unfortunately, didn't he step out of bounds prior, or did he get down at the 5?
So I believe he was down at the 7 or I believe it was the 6 or 7.
Yeah, because I thought he stepped out just before he had gotten knocked out.
Yeah, I do believe so.
Yeah.
But then we can't get over. Jalen Hurts played great.
He did.
He played a great game.
He did, man, and he's not a bad quarterback. He really isn't.
And in my personal opinion, I thought the refs did a good job throughout the game with their calls. There was a couple of calls that I saw myself, maybe a pass interference or a holding in the back, but they let them play for the majority of the game.
Yeah.
But, they played a key part in this game as well, and that you got to let them play.
Yeah, I know. I will say this, though. Prior to that missed call, I just saw the Smith catch when he was wide. Yeah. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the one call where what's it called? At the end with the holding and everything that was against the Eagles. That was actually the first penalty that was in favor of the Chiefs that entire game, basically.
Yeah.
A call that shouldn't have been made, but it was made towards Kansas City. But people, you don't want to get it twisted. Kansas City wasn't getting those calls throughout the entire game until that point.
Absolutely.
Eagles were getting almost every single call.
You're absolutely right. And we'll go back to Devonta Smith here because he came up big. I kind of thought that he was going to have a relatively big game. I definitely took him in the over for the yards.
Oh, yeah, me too. I took him. Yeah, I won all my bets last night. I put a bunch of. I did three. I did 3 single ones. I did the +1.5 for the Kansas City Chiefs. Got that. I got the over on the yards just for Devonta Smith.
Yep.
And Juju.
Yeah.
I got Juju over 35.5.
Yeah.
That was awesome to see because they finally gave him the ball in the fourth quarter. Because the fourth quarter, man, he only had 12 yards total. Yeah. And then he just went off.
Well, you got to think that fourth quarter I won't even say that fourth quarter. After Mahomes got hurt and in that second half, Isaiah Pacheco was running all over that team.
Yeah.
They could not stop that Chiefs offense for a lick.
I will say this though too, he's awesome to watch.
Yeah,
he's absolutely awesome to watch. Unfortunately for him though, his style of play may not last long for his career just because of how hard and how aggressive he plays.
Agreed.
But you do want to see that in the NFL.
Yeah,
you absolutely want to see that.
Absolutely. Devonta Smith, huge catch. Wide open downfield. How does he get that open? And
he got that open.
He was barely able to stay in bounds.
I know. It was when I saw that, man, I was just like, dude, there's nobody. There's nobody.
There's no one within him. No one within 15 yards.
No one within 15 yards, and he was just wide open.
Yeah, some may call it luck, but hey, it is what it is. But it was the Kelce Bowl. And
it was the Kelce Bowl.
Travis Kelce now gets bragging rights. It was good to see them after the game hug it out, talk to each other, and they both were smiling, which was a good sign, especially after that call at the end of the game, which really you were able to see that it defeated a lot of those Eagles players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was good to see Jason still being able to smile, and I'm pretty sure that he said, happy for you, but fuck you.
Yeah. He literally, the quote that he had said when he had initially hugged him was, "Fuck you, congratulations." And then that was it.
Yep. Hey.
I would say the same thing to my brother.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I just got to ask you, what do you think was the biggest difference in the game? What made the final outcome? What was the difference?
So, I mean, the field. I think the field played such a big part of it because it was so crappy.
Yeah.
Like, the
Well,
Arizona's field, the turf, has always been... And I talked to Nick, my brother, about this. It's one of the worst fields in the NFL.
So, earlier in the season, Kansas City Chiefs played there in Arizona against Arizona. Complained about the field.
They said week one. They played them week one.
I believe that Arizona spent over $8 million trying to treat the field.
Yeah, they had spent apparently. I think it was only $800K.
It was something.
But it was specifically for the Super Bowl. That patch of turf was only meant for the Super Bowl.
Yes.
The other field that the Cardinals played on was that was their own thing. But they had an entire whole freaking 120-yard patch for the Super Bowl, and the paint made it so slippery.
Well, I mean, you had a bunch of players change their cleats, put new spikes in.
You see the piles?
Yeah,
on each bench. It wasn't even just like the Eagles bench; it was both, and there were mountains.
So I will say, into the first half, there weren't as many Chiefs players' cleats on the sideline. Into the second half, you were definitely able to tell that most of them changed cleats. But yeah, that field was awful.
I mean, literally,
you had people sliding when Noah Gray sliding, trying to escape, while Patrick Mahomes is trying to escape and expand the play.
Dude, Pacheco's first touchdown, he couldn't even celebrate without sliding.
Yeah,
he literally was stopping himself, then slid, got back up, and then was finally able to celebrate.
I mean,
Travis Kelce, same thing as well. He ran off to the out of bounds, tried to stop himself, wiped out.
Yep, and then you had Kenneth Gainwell, who was trying to just make a cut and slid. His foot just literally slid. Almost looked like he was making a diamond.
I mean, I feel like I was watching a hockey game.
Yeah, I mean, quite literally. So, we'll go away from the Super Bowl here, and we'll talk about the NFL a little bit. So, I want to ask you, it's going to come up. It's bound to come up. No one couldn't stop talking about it today on the news. This ref situation is going to get a little out of hand. And I feel like the NFL is going to have a little issue because I feel like a majority of the fans thought it was good, but there's going to be a large portion of fans that think, the refs there needs to be something fixed. There needs to be something done. And I want to ask you, if you were Commissioner Goodell, what do you think you would do?
See, the problem is, what I would say to fix it is probably against what Goodell and the NFL want. And that is, they need to call blatant calls. This micromanaging bullshit, and it's with every sport, man.
Yeah.
It's gotta stop. What the hell? Why? Why are we micromanaging everything?
Yeah.
But, the problem is that these guys are probably getting paid more to call more, so if anything seems the slightest out of place, they're gonna just call it.
Yeah, I definitely agree that with how it's going to end up starting, if this does end up turning into a major issue, I definitely see them making a change and calling every single penalty they see. And it's going to have to be very, very, very consistent. And a lot of fans aren't going to be happy about it at first, and it's going to be a lot of penalties in the game. But hopefully it's able to manage, and the players are able to realize. And if you get blown on a coverage and you're a cornerback or a safety, you get blown. If you try to hold them, it should just be a pass interference call. They get it, call it a day. If you see a hold, spot the ball there.
Yep.
Because that opposing team is not going to want to cause a penalty.
Yeah.
Because anytime that they cause a penalty, it's going to have to get moved, so many yards regardless, even though that's what a penalty does now. But just move it to where the foul occurred, or make it super, extra, and make it 25 yards for a holding call. Make it, the spot for the pass interference calls. And you kind of just got to toss out some of these other fouls and penalties. Yeah, because I mean, there's a lot that could go wrong, but we don't see a majority of that. We see 15, 20 calls a game on the high end.
Yeah.
We didn't even see that many calls last night.
Not really. I mean, realistically, we didn't really see that many calls.
I mean, does the NFL just in every stadium, just in the middle of the field, just put cameras on cameras on cameras? And does the NFL just say, okay, for each one of these stadiums, we're going to have a ref on each camera. If you see a foul, you call it. It'll get called on TV. The refs down below will get called. You'll communicate to them what the foul was, and they'll announce it.
That would be interesting, but like I don't know, like I'm just not the biggest fan of like the whole like technology aspect interfering with call making in sports, because like
I understand
that's the beauty of the sport. It's
Yeah.
it's made for human error. It's made for just just the human error of judgment. Like that's just what makes the sport special. And when you kind of like just take it out and start micromanaging everything, it just takes the fun out of it.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I like technology. Don't get me wrong. I love it, but when it's overused like that,
True. So being a Colt fan, I want to go ahead and say Shane Steichen, offensive coordinator for the Eagles, has been announced that he is flying to Indianapolis to finalize his deal as head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. I am very happy about this. The other guy I would have wanted already signed in my division, D'Amico Ryans, and the other guy I wanted wasn't even a finalist apparently in Bieniemy of the Chiefs. So, is what it is. I'm happy with it. I think he's going to want a Jalen Hurts type quarterback. C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young. I think those are the two guys now at this point that he would probably look into the most.
Yeah.
Very excited for the future of the Indianapolis Colts. Please don't screw up this quarterback thing. Please. For the love of God.
Oh, man.
So, I mean, we can go to the award show this weekend for the NFL. They ended up having, their big award show. Patrick Mahomes, obviously, we talked about earlier, winning MVP. I thought that was well-deserved. I thought he definitely earned that. Nick Bosa, Defensive Player of the Year.
Yep.
I thought, right call on that again.
Yeah, it was fun watching him play this year.
Yep, absolutely. Justin Jefferson, Offensive Player of the Year.
It was unfortunately fun to watch him be that successful this season. On my end.
Garrett Wilson, Offensive Rookie of the Year for the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
And Sauce Gardner, Defensive Rookie of the Year
for the Jets. I'm happy for the Jets, man. That's really nice to finally get recognition like that and have some kind of success.
Absolutely.
Within the last decade, they've had none of that. So it's a even though they missed their playoff spot, still a nice feeling to have two players valuable in that
absolutely.
category.
Our guest later on today will, he's a Jet fan, and he's got to be astounded and ecstatic.
Oh, yeah, it's basically his two favorite players.
I know. How can they not be? I mean, you got Zach Milson at quarterback. I mean, how can he not be your favorite quarterback?
Yeah.
Your favorite
the king of New York or the king of Jersey. It's not New York, it's Jersey.
All right, and then we got Brian Daboll of the New York Giants. He won Head Coach of the Year, and then Geno Smith, Comeback Player of the Year.
Yes, both those realistically were forthcoming. Geno Smith just had such a and I remember, watching the people make the edits for a 60-60. Or isn't that what it is? 60-60 or 50-50?
30-30.
30-30. I don't even know. But it was one of those where it was the Geno Smith where they literally go through the whole career of him and then the comeback year. Him almost making the playoffs.
Yeah. He did.
Oh no, he did make the playoffs. Sorry. I'm thinking about as a Packers fan, it's been a while since we haven't made the playoffs, so it's I wanted to dream a little bit there, but no, he absolutely deserves it. And same thing with the ball. I loved watching him coach the Giants this year.
Honestly, so the Indianapolis Colts wanted Wink Martindale and Mike Kafka, their offensive coordinator, the Giants. I told our buddy last week, Slow-Mo 21, that if I wanted to get a Giants coach on my team, it would be Brian Daboll.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want anybody else.
Yeah, Brian Daboll, he just fits right in, man.
He does.
He literally just fits right in, and he just looks like that kind of coach that you would want to be underneath.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely, absolutely.
Like, they just look like he has so much energy and like he has so much knowledge of the game. It just looks like a thrill to be a part of for the Giants fan base and for the players as well.
Yeah, I mean, hey, both New York teams, I think, have a real legitimate shot to be.
Like, they got the potential.
Compete next
Both
year.
of them got the potential for the next couple of years
Because,
to rev it up.
You know, with everything that the Jets had going on at quarterback this year, right, and all their issues, they get Breece Hall healthy next year.
Yep.
And he would have been
legit.
Offensive Rookie of the Year if he was healthy.
For sure. He's
you
legit.
Know, congrats to Garrett Wilson, but you would have lost.
You wouldn't have beaten Hall, I'm just saying.
Yeah. But unfortunately, yes, this is the last day, or yesterday was the last day of football until the preseason of 2024 season. And
yeah, you got the USSFL.
Yeah, then
that's coming in April. The real football begins.
Yeah, whatever. But you know, the NFL will return again in August. The only thing that, you know, will be our saving grace during this time without the NFL, or at least my saving grace, is the NFL draft. And we will obviously keep you updated on the NFL draft and when things go on and, you know, big things about the draft.
Oh, yeah.
But goodbye, NFL. Congratulations to the Chiefs. Gonna be more proud of you guys. Colts beat you guys this year. That's all I gotta say. All right, you want to move on to some hockey talk?
Yeah, some hockey. So I you did say some big moves at the deadline. The deadline's actually next month.
Oh, interesting, huh?
Yeah, I thought it was near too because we were getting so many trades in the NHL, especially on this side of the country. Freaking the New York Islanders and Rangers and their trades being as successful as they have been. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. But there are going to be more trades coming up very soon, and I think that we're going to see some big moves as well. Like the Tarasenko trade and the debut that he had with the New York Rangers, scoring the first goal of the game.
Yep.
And then the Rangers just absolutely mollywhopping the Seattle Kraken. I think it was against the Seattle Kraken, I believe.
It was, yes.
And that was cool to see. I'm glad. I love Vladimir Tarasenko. He's a great hockey player. I mean, he's a magician out there on the ice.
They ended up signing him to a deal, correct?
Yeah, I believe they extended him a little bit. I don't exactly remember. You may be thinking about Bo Horvat for the New York Islanders. We extended him till he's 35 years old. So, 8-year extension for Bo Horvat for the New York Islanders. So we'll be seeing him as a New York Islander for a very long time. And same thing with him as well. He's been doing very good so far with the New York Islanders. I believe he scored like 3 goals in 4 games since the trade was made just before the All-Star break.
Well, that's good.
He had on Thursday night his first game against his former team, the Vancouver Canucks, already. Oh, wow. And same thing with Anthony Beauvillier, who was on the Canucks. So, and it was on Long Island. It wasn't in Vancouver. They did a whole big thing in the first period for Anthony Beauvillier because he had been with the team for such a long time. I think he had played like 6 years with the Islanders. Wow. So he's been, he was in the same draft as Matt Barzal.
Oh, okay.
And Beauvillier got the call up earlier before Barzal did, but he finally played his first game against the Islanders. They did a big video thing for him in the first period, and I mean he's a fan favorite. Everybody loved him on Long Island. I mean I saw him score an overtime goal one year back at old Nassau against, I think it was maybe the Buffalo Sabres or something. But I remember I was on the goal end when he scored that goal. I think I got it on video somewhere on my YouTube channel. But that was good to see, and that was unfortunately a bad good game. The reason why I say that is because the good game is because a lot of goals were scored back and forth, fighting like crazy. The bad is that the Islanders lost. They lost 6-5 as a final score, and they kind of blew it. They had a 2-0 lead. Vancouver tied it, and then Islanders took back another 2 goals. They were up 4-2, and then basically Vancouver never looked back. They just scored to take the lead. They scored one more to make it 6-4. We scored, I think, with an extra man advantage late in the third, but that didn't really pan out to anything major. As the final score of that game was 6-5, but a very entertaining and half successful for the two former players of the team that they're playing against. And I had mentioned this, I added this to our notes, that Crosby finally got ejected, that bastard. He finally got ejected for his bickering and bitching and moaning that he always has done throughout his entire career. He got tossed for the first time in his career. The first time in his career. That was the first time. He had never gotten tossed. And it was literally just for chirping at the refs.
Really?
Yeah. I forget exactly what it was for. I don't know if it was like a penalty. It might have been a penalty that was on him, but apparently he was just chirping at the refs, and they were like, "You're gone." Finally! So, that's good news for us New York fans, because fuck Pittsburgh and Crosby. So, that was honestly pretty cool to see. I mean, listen, Crosby is a great hockey player. I can't deny it, but
no doubt about it.
But as the New York Islanders, Rangers fan of New York, we don't like him. So, and I'm pretty sure the rest of the league can pretty much agree with me as well.
You know, maybe when I start to get back into hockey, maybe I just root for the New York teams.
Yeah,
well, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
I mean, hell, man. I mean, the Rangers are fantastic this year. I mean, I think their record right now is like they're 31-14 and like 4, something along those lines. I know they're 31. They've only lost 14 regulation games. And the Islanders, they're still in the hunt just behind Pittsburgh. I think we're like 27-24 and 2 or 6, something like that. I just took a look at the matchup because I'm going to the New York Islanders game tomorrow night at UBS Arena. They're playing the Ottawa Senators. The Ottawa Senators are they're at 500. I think they're like 24 and like 6. So they're okay. I mean, they still have Kachuk and everything, but that's pretty much it for their squad. And then for the Islanders, I mean, we're gonna play another game with Horvat again. Hopefully, he can help us hopefully is a sure victory against the Ottawa Senators, because I hope that is the case. And also that we're playing on Long Island. Usually we do better against those teams on Long Island.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so big news in the NBA. You know, LeBron this past week became the all-time leading scorer of all time.
Uh-huh.
38,387 total points scored.
That's just crazy that you can get that many points in the NBA.
He's played a very long time. I would say congratulations to one of the GOATs from the NBA. Because
I keep forgetting how long he's played for.
I know.
It doesn't seem like he's played that long.
It doesn't seem like it, but again, it does.
Mm-hmm.
But, I won't say that he is the only GOAT, because you cannot forget about Jordan, and you can never forget about the man upstairs, Mr. Kobe. So, but then some other big news. Got a couple of trades at the trade deadline. KD got traded from Brooklyn Nets to the Suns out in Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kyrie Irving got traded to the Mavs. And then for us Knicks fans, we had traded away Cam Reddish and a couple of other guys for Josh Hart.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Josh Hart is, I would say, a good player, but I don't think that was really the move that they needed to make at the deadline.
Yeah,
I don't think it was that piece that would have assured them to stay in the hunt.
Yeah, that wasn't really the biggest splash in the world. I mean, I don't know. He's okay at best. I mean, he averages just about 10 points a game. He averages about 8 rebounds and 4 assists, and he's 50-50 on the field. Yep. So
but recently,
not the greatest.
But recently, he has not been shooting well. He's been shooting almost career low numbers from 3.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we need. We kind of need that perimeter shooting, but then we also needed his perimeter defense, which is why I see them making that deal.
Mm-hmm.
But is what it is. Us New York fans hope that we're able to see New York basketball come back to life, in the Garden, because it's terrible without it.
Yeah,
let me tell you.
Yeah, and going back to Irving, I mean, he played his first game. I believe it was against the Clippers. I think. as a member of the Dallas Mavericks.
Yes.
And I'm just trying to look at the stats here for what he did because I didn't really know. 24 points, and he in the next two games he had 25 and 28. So he's still good. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
But just again, just another interesting player in the NBA, if you know what I mean.
Very, very true. So, last topic here before we get to our guest. So, Hogwarts Legacy has officially released on Friday. Early access came out last Tuesday after our last stream. What are your first thoughts, man?
I mean, so I got the game literally yesterday, and I've started playing. I've pretty much put like about 2 or 3 hours in it so far. I love it. It's so much fun. It's such a satisfying game to play, like, realistically. And, I'm not usually one to play those types of games, but, like, I don't know, when it comes to, like, Harry Potter, it's a little different. I mean, I used to play the original Harry Potter games, like, from the PS2, PlayStation 1. I'm pretty sure we had Sorcerer's Stone on the PS1, on Nick's PS1.
I thought it was the PS2. I thought that came out.
So we had it, So the Sorcerer's Stone originally came out on the PS1. Then they made it when the PS2 came out. I think it was literally like the year after or something like that. They made a version for the PS2, and then they made Chamber of Secrets for the PS2 and PS1 and Xbox. I played it on the original Xbox, and I just remember putting so many hours into that game. And same thing with my brother Ryan, watching him play as well. Those were just so many fun games. I actually legitimately was watching walkthroughs of people because YouTube can be sometimes. They show things on your recommended, and it was just perfect timing because I guess they knew that like I was watching Hogwarts stuff like prior hand, and it is like what's it called it's just so much fun to play. Like it's very satisfying to me.
So I do have a lot more hours into the game. I do believe I have about 18 hours into the game now. I am only 18% done with all of the challenges in the game. I believe that the game is fantastic. It's visually stunning, in my opinion. The free roaming of Hogwarts, getting to know the castle. Today, I went down to the dock, to the boathouse, and looked at where Snape died, and I almost shedded some tears because, God, that's so sad, and we love Snape. But, it has had a lot of controversy come along with the release of the game. It has come with J.K. Rowling and of a lot of trans people and the trans community attacking J.K. Rowling because she has openly come out as a transphobe and of that nature.
Which is unfortunate, but like I don't know, like I just don't see what that has to do with the Harry Potter stories as well. I mean, I
understand.
I get it. You don't want to support something that someone that doesn't support you. I get that, but we can't say that for the the LGBTQ communities because we aren't that.
Yeah.
So, I can understand where that's coming from.
I 100% understand where they're coming from, but I just don't understand why it has to be the game.
I don't know why you have to shun us for just playing the fucking game and liking the story.
Yeah,
that doesn't make us that way.
I can understand, the LGBTQ's community, with their understanding and feeling of this way.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're going about it the wrong way. Yeah. There's other aspects, Universal Studios, she gets ticket sale prices, and a cut from that.
Yeah.
That's
when they twist it to turn it on us because we're giving her the royalties.
But then it's Funko Pops. But then it's all this other memorabilia. It's clothing. It's whatever deal that Harry Potter cuts, they're supporting J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that, she was the creator of this story and of, this world that we love. But, You know,
It's their childhood, man. Like,
it,
it's just it's
yeah,
the nostalgia that comes with it, and like it's our it's our scapegoat to the reality. It helps
yeah,
us cope with everything. It helps us like kind of like lead us away from it for a little bit, and
yeah.
like that. I don't, like that's just how I feel about it.
I mean, hey, anytime it's on TV, I watch it.
Yeah,
I can't not.
yeah.
You know, and despite all of its controversy that's come along with the game's release, I tell you what, before the game actually released on Friday, they were already setting records for amount of people playing the game and constant days of playing hours and crazy numbers.
Yeah.
So it was amazing to see the game actually still be living up to its expectation because in my opinion the game is flawless. It's gonna win game of the year, there's no doubt about it. It's fantastic.
And you're right, slow mo. It's cancel culture,
Yeah,
freedom of speech, and cancel culture.
yeah,
I agree.
absolutely. Well, folks, we've gotten to our installment. We're going to introduce our guest here today. Today we got Rigatoni11 here chatting with us for a little bit. Rigatoni, how you doing, man?
He is muted.
He is muted. Yes, he is. That is okay, folks. We'll go ahead and give him a little bit of time here, as we get ready to talk to our beloved friend Tony.
I believe oh no, we can't. He can't hear us. There we go. It's technical difficulties. I had us on mute. See, I deafened muted us, but I didn't mute us.
Yes,
I had mute on originally, but I didn't turn it off. But now he should be able to hear us if he.
Yes, and so now, introducing our beloved friend and one of our aspired guests, analyst for the show, Rigatoni 11. How are you?
It's a pleasure to be on this amazing podcast with you two beautiful people.
Well, thank you. Come on, come on.
I mean, come on, anytime.
That's you. That's you.
No,
That's all you out there.
All right,
That's
fine. It's me.
yeah. Well, Tony, introduce yourself here into the podcast at Stream World here.
What's going on, everybody? I am Rigatoni, confidant and good friend of Murph and Mr. Non-Clutch. We're just here to talk about everything. Video games, sports. MLB The Show news today and tomorrow. So we got some big things.
So, I gotta ask. Tell me your favorite sports teams here. What sports do you watch? What are your favorite sports teams?
Let's see. Basically, you can sum it up with the fact that I enjoy pain, emotional pain, as I am a Mets fan and a Jets fan. And since the Rangers have not been the best lately, just throw those in there too. So a lot of pain across the board.
Yeah, a lot of pain. Well, hey, last year couldn't have come with too much pain as the Mets did make the playoffs. It was good to see them back in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
You can't disagree about that. Yeah. We were talking earlier about, two of your up and rising guys in Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson, them winning offense and defensive rookie of the year.
I mean, I think that's incredible. I was very pleased with it. I know that there was a lot of controversy with Garrett winning the offense player of the year, but what are you going to do?
No, I definitely think it was the right call.
I agree, but I'm also biased, so my opinion doesn't really help much. But it is definitely a bright spot for the future of the organization. Hopefully, Breece Hall can bounce back next year and have a pretty good trio right there.
Yeah, that's a really young trio. I'll tell you what, you get yourself a quarterback. That should be some good things looking in East Rutherford.
Absolutely. That is definitely a trio you can build around for the next 5-6 years.
Yes, indeed. Well, Tony, so you are a avid video game player, along with me
I
and
am.
Murph Dog. So I gotta ask you, are you looking forward to MLB The Show 23?
I am looking very forward to MLB The Show 23. Today, we saw that Ian Kinsler got revealed as one of our new legends.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was a big Ian Kinsler enthusiast back in the early 2010s,
Oh yeah.
so
I
I'm
even
excited to use him.
I even
Can't wait
had
to
the.
play him.
Do you remember, Tony, in extra innings when they had the Mizuno Ian Kinsler posters there?
I do.
Yes,
I
yeah,
had one
I
of
had one
those
of
down in my
those.
basement. You
It
remember
had
that?
the logo. It
Down
had
in the man
his
cave.
jersey logo
Yep.
and his hat logo like taken
It
off
was
for
taken off
copyright
because of
reasons,
royalties,
but
so they just made him a
yeah,
photoshopped him into a
yep,
blank uniform.
yeah,
But Mizuno
baby,
was like everything, his gloves, his
Yeah.
bat, and that was all
yeah,
still there because like extra innings was big into Mizuno at that point. But I remember that was just a blast from
Yeah,
the past right there.
absolutely. But hey, I'm hoping Ian Kinsler, in my opinion, is a good legend so far. A good early legend to reveal.
Yep.
You know, a good power hitting second baseman. There's not a
yeah.
lot of them in the game.
Yeah, that's a
He
good one to
had
reveal
some.
because it's not like, and me and Tony touched base on this. I'm glad that they didn't like bring out a big gun already,
Yeah.
like they did
Yeah.
last year.
Absolutely.
He did have a couple of 30-30 seasons, so
Mm-hmm.
you can expect some power and some speed.
Yeah.
And he did have a decent glove, so
Yeah.
he's
He did win Gold
basically,
Glove once or twice.
Yeah.
yeah, he's a very well-rounded early game legend
Mm-hmm.
to start off with in April.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Also on MLB The Show, tomorrow is a featured premiere all about gameplay.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that. Should see some bright things ahead of
Do
us.
we know what time that starts yet?
I believe it's 2 p.m.
2 p.m.
Eastern Standard Time. I think. Either that or Pacific
Yeah, I
Standard Time.
think so.
One or the other.
Last week it started at 5 Eastern, so I feel like it might be the same time, but don't quote me.
Yeah, yeah.
We can go ahead and look that up. But I gotta ask, last year's game, it wasn't the best. There was a lot of things, as we know, working as intended.
Yeah.
Our favorite phrase. Our
our
favorite
favorite
That's
phrase.
my
When
favorite
it
phrase.
comes
Put
to
that
the
on my
game.
gravestone when I die.
But I gotta ask, what are you looking forward to in the game, and what are you hoping that they fix or add to really bring back the franchise? Because a lot of people didn't play it last year because of the issues that they claimed were fixed.
I think that you got to do something with guys that aren't known for their power, because last year they were just unusable. You'd square up a beautiful, beautiful piece of hitting, and it would go right at somebody every time.
Yeah.
So if they can figure out a way to fix your contact hitters per se, and make it an all well-rounded game where you're not just hitting home runs or striking out,
Yeah.
then it'll be looking good. Because last year it was a lot of hit or miss. It was either you hit a tank, or you struck out, or you squared it up and it went right at somebody,
Yeah.
or you were nowhere near it with the PCI and you got a hit.
Yeah.
Just a lot of
I would definitely agree. That's one thing that I really hope that they can narrow down, because I can't tell you how many times a perfect, for those who don't know what a perfect hit is with the PCI, which is what you control to where you're swinging, where your bat goes through the zone. You want to line that up with the ball, and when it's perfectly in the center and you swing at the perfect time, it is called a perfect. There were hardly any perfect home runs last year.
yeah,
there
perfects
were-
were hard to come by.
There were very many perfect ground balls.
Ground balls.
Ooh, the
Perfect.
best,
Foul
the best,
balls?
Perfect
Oh,
foul
everybody loves a
balls.
perfect
Oh
foul
my
ball.
goodness.
Yeah, everyone loves that, right? I've seen a perfect dribble to the third baseman.
Yeah, I saw a TikTok recently where a guy hit a perfect foul ball, then another perfect foul ball, then a perfect ground out.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible, right? They have to fix that issue, in my opinion, because if they don't, the game is going to be the same. It's going to be working as intended.
Yeah.
And
It's going to be the same game, new cover.
yeah, You're absolutely right.
Yep.
Yeah, you're
Personally, I mean, I know a lot of people did not care for co-op mode, but I hope to see some changes
I
and
do too.
additions because I know the three of us and Slow-Mo, when he joined us, we had a great time.
We did.
Absolutely.
I
Just
really hope.
messing around.
I really hope they change that up, or at least spice it up a little bit to
Well-
get people's attention and make it a playable mode. And that because like
Yeah.
I mean we had that first month or
So-
two where we couldn't even connect.
So honestly,
Yeah.
I saw a TikTok recently of a guy explaining what he would do if he was able to, change the co-op mode, and he made it put objectives in there.
Yeah,
Get a
like you get
reward.
rewards.
Get a
Yep.
reward.
Yep.
That's a
for
big
playing
thing.
With for playing co-op.
Like they do for custom seasons.
Yeah,
Or
that would
Exactly.
that would be huge.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
if you play a
because you
certain
got-
amount of co-op games, or you get a certain stats in co-op games, that's you can get rewarded, and it'll be fun to play. But they have to do
Exactly.
something with the servers as well,
Yeah.
Yep.
because the
Yeah, because
servers
last
were
year.
horrible.
Yeah, exactly. And last year it was, you didn't get any parallel XP for your players, which doesn't really happen in those like one-off modes. But it was also you just throw your best 6 guys out there. You play 6 innings, you either win or lose, and then that's it.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter. Your wins and losses don't count. Stats don't count. It's just there. It's just like
yeah, agreed.
Agrees, good sir.
Yes, indeed.
yeah.
So I gotta ask you, Tony. You watched the Super Bowl last night, correct?
I did watch that Super Bowl last night.
So were there any commercials that caught your eye? What'd you think?
The Flashpoint trailer intrigued me. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with that universe, especially since I feel like this movie is kind of like what X-Men Days of Future Past was to that universe,
Yeah,
or
almost
just
like a reset.
erases everything and you start over.
Yeah.
So that should be interesting. The Guardians trailer,
you
that
seen
one
that yet?
looked incredible.
I didn't check it online yet, but
I
I saw
did.
like the short one on the Super Bowl. I didn't.
I did
I remember
see
at the end
Yeah.
of it, they're like, check the full trailer online. I have not seen that yet, but what do you think?
I thought it was very good. I think we're going to get some very interesting story points,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to have some, yeah.
I'm excited for that one.
I gotta ask you, because you mentioned the Flash movie. It's looking like it's gonna end up probably being a reset, but we also get Ben Affleck back as Batman, and Michael Keaton returns. As
When Michael Keaton showed up on the screen last night and the '89 Batman theme started playing, I was a little kid again. I was like, "Oh my god, oh my god!"
Well, hey, I mean, I'm definitely excited to see. It definitely didn't look like he lost a step, with his age, but
Mostly all just visual effects.
yeah, I definitely. But I gotta ask you, what are your thoughts on Ezra Miller coming back as the Flash?
I mean, I don't know what they're doing over there in DC, where you kind of just say to Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, and Gal Gadot, like, all right, your story's done, have a great day. But Ezra Miller, with everything he's been around in the news, are like, yeah, we're gonna stick it out with this guy.
Yeah. That's
So-
really odd.
It's interesting, of course, but yeah, with James Gunn, you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, true that. I mean, you're not wrong. So I want to get to a little segment here, possibly do something a little new here on stream. We're gonna do some tier lists, Tony. We're gonna pop out some tier lists with you, all right?
All right.
All right. So we're gonna start with the NFL first, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Give me in no particular order. None of these tier lists have to be in any particular order, but I would like you to name the top 10 QBs in the NFL, please. In your opinion.
All right. Are we? You know what? All right. Yeah. No particular order because I can't rank these people at all. But Mahomes has to be on that list. Proved it last night. It's like he's not even human anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff that he does out there, it's
Absolutely.
incredible. It's amazing to watch. Does Brady still count?
No, he is officially
All right,
retired
good.
from the NFL.
Yeah, I would say no.
Brady haunted my dreams for the last 23 years, so it doesn't even matter.
You
Let's see.
finally,
Jalen's got to be on that list. I
Yep.
mean, all those doubters that he's had for the last 3 years, and being able to take his team to the Super Bowl and even basically carry his team last night,
oh my god,
incredible.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns in the first half, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he scored 3 times
Yeah, he
with his
did.
legs
3 times
last
in the
night.
game.
Technically, he scored 4 on the 2-point conversion.
Oh yeah, so you can't
Yeah,
forget about that too.
that's true. That's good. I mean, Tua, Josh Allen, they're both on that list.
No, I want to ask, when you do say Tua, that does ponder me a little bit. I want to know, if you were to rank Tua, where would he be on that list?
He'd definitely be in the later 5. I think the only reason why he makes my list this year is because of his wide receiver core that he was able to work with. I mean, working with guys like Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill really helped him step up from what he was.
Finally able to play with superstars,
Yeah, and it's a very intriguing argument that I've seen where, Josh Allen before Stephon Diggs wasn't really anything. Jalen Hurts before A.J. Brown, he wasn't really anything either. And it goes the same for Tua and Tyreek, because once Tyreek walked into Miami's clubhouse, Tua kind of just took that one step above where he was last year and kind of showed that he can hang around in this league.
Yeah.
So,
hey, you're absolutely right there, man.
I'm a big fan of Justin Herbert. I love a guy with a big arm and a man that's not afraid to use it. So he's on my list. And then the next 5 are just tough, because there's definitely your elite QBs, there's your below average QBs, and then there's just a load of just your average guy.
Yeah.
Your average Joe hanging around in the NFL.
Agreed.
I'm going to put Kirk Cousins on my list.
Okay.
I like Kirk. I
Okay.
think Kirk, not in prime time, stud. Prime time, get him off my field. Horrible. Yeah. Unfortunately, Matt Stafford, I was high on him last year, being able to take those Rams and get his first Super Bowl win. He deserved it, but this year it was a big step back for Matt Stafford. He also got hurt, so and his best buddy got hurt, so
Yep.
he didn't really have much going on.
Cooper Kupp getting hurt and Allen Robinson not stepping up at all really dampened that. Bless you, my friend.
Excuse me.
I like Lamar. I think he's got a bright future ahead of him. Interested to see what happens with him this offseason.
That's one quarterback that I forgot.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for forgetting about him because he's good.
Yeah, he's good.
So let's do our top 10 here. We got to involve those 2 guys from last night. Right. Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes. You got to throw Josh Allen, Joe Burrow.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Chopper. Don't forget about Joe Burrow.
You cannot forget
Joe
about
Shiesty.
Joe Shiesty.
Chopper.
Joe Burrow.
Chopper.
And then, in my opinion, you have to throw in Rodgers. He is
for what he's done.
Yeah, the reason why we forget about him just because it was just such a forgetful season for the
career.
Packers. Obviously,
he had a bad.
I would say career. Well, for this, it's this season. It's just a forgetful season.
This season. This season was kind of.
Well, I wouldn't even say that he had necessarily a bad year.
No,
I just would say that the Packers more on the downside. They had a bad year.
I wouldn't say Rodgers had a bad year, but what he's been doing for his career and what he's capable of, yes, it was a bad year for him. Because
it was a down year.
There were so many times where he just looked lost out there.
Yeah,
and
agreed.
Like you said, it has a lot to do with the team that he was playing for, not being teams that he played for the past decade. Not having that one superstar or 2. Yeah. And
he didn't have really anybody to throw to till the second half of the season. Yeah. I mean, his aging Randall Cobb wasn't what he was 5 years ago.
Yep.
Christian Watson didn't really step up until after week 9.
Yep.
and Alan Lazard and Robert Tunyon were basically like non-existent
Yeah, like
in this
yeah,
season.
absolutely. Yeah, Tunyon, like yeah, both of them. I would have said like Tunyon never got the ball, but Lazard never got the ball too,
Yeah.
and he's good as well. But like Rodgers just never felt that comfortable to throw with him.
Yeah, and what sucked for Rodgers is that, teams knew going into the week, oh, we're facing the Packers. Rodgers doesn't have anybody to throw to, so let's just limit who he throws to even more. So they cover Lazard more. They cover Tunyon more. That leaves Rodgers basically with anybody? Hello?
Well, I mean, late in the year, it was Christian Watson, and you saw a lot more.
You saw a lot
Lewis.
of Mercedes Lewis as well. The old fart Mercedes
Yeah.
Lewis baby making them plays.
All right, so we got 5, right? I want to throw
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence in there.
Yes,
I'd throw Trevor Lawrence in there 100%. That hair, you got to be on that list.
But
On
then
the hair alone.
you got the other one that he lost. He beat Justin Herbert.
He's got a yep. I like
That's-
Herbert.
That's 7.
yeah, he showed a lot of potential.
I think that you throw Lamar Jackson into that conversation. I think alone with his legs, he can do a lot. Jared Goff.
Yes, we just had
I like Jared Goff.
yeah, we
I was
just
going
had
to put him
a,
on my list.
a card thrown into the pile here from our commenters here. My brother Nick, he had thrown the Goff name out there, and yes, I agree.
Yes.
Jared Goff had a very underrated season out in
did.
Detroit.
Oh, absolutely.
He did.
Especially for that team finishing 9-8 and just missing the playoffs. Jared Goff led that team.
Oh, absolutely. He was on fire at the end of the year.
Absolutely.
The Jared Goff that we saw this year was what the Rams had hoped they'd picked 5 years ago or 6 years ago when they got him.
Agreed. Agreed, honestly. And then at 9, I think, even though it's in no particular order, I think I would throw in Dak Prescott. Unfortunately, he is not what the Dallas Cowboys paid him. He is not the best quarterback, but he is better than a good amount of
Yeah,
quarterbacks.
and he helped that team get 13 wins they got?
Well,
12 or 13?
Yeah,
yeah,
I think they got 13.
13.
I believe it's 13.
So I mean, you can't rule that out at all.
No, I mean, absolutely not. And then, I mean, at 10, you can kind of, in my opinion, I take like a couple guys that I debate between. Kyler Murray.
I'll throw you a name.
Kyler Murray, Tua Tagovailoa, Kirk Cousins. I feel like are the 3 guys that I am battling between that I would throw into the top 10 at probably number 10.
I will throw a name out there that'll get somebody that we all know very excited. Daniel Jones. You could stick him at 10. He carried the Giants for most of that year. Did you see? Okay, I mean, he was a workhorse throwing the ball and running the ball.
Yes.
Like you could see, I mean, and granted, Minnesota's defense is always terrible, but in that wild card round, what he was able to do against that team, it just showed that he might have the stuff to take to the next level.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to get paid for it this year.
Yeah. I do think that he is going to get paid for it. I don't know if they, I don't know if they sign him for more than a 2-year deal. I don't know what kind of money he'll get, but I do believe that he's going to end up getting another deal. If they get him a couple receivers, maybe, but he still has to be smart when he's throwing the ball. The Vikings defense wasn't all that good, but yes, I do believe Daniel Jones is a little underrated.
I mean, I might be wrong, but didn't he have the fewest interceptions in the league this year?
I'm not entirely sure. I know he fumbled the ball multiple times, so that doesn't attribute very well. But let's go away from the NFL here. Let's switch over to the MLB, huh?
Okay.
Give
I'm
me
ready.
a top 10 MLB outfielders right now.
Okay, Aaron Judge, Mike Trout. I'm gonna throw Shohei in that list because
I agree with you. I would throw Shohei in there.
okay, so
I'm okay with that.
Judge, Trout, Shohei. Bryce, 100%. As much
Yeah.
as I hate him in
As much as
Washington
we
and in
despise
Philadelphia,
him,
but he is a very good baseball player.
Yes, very good baseball player.
Ronald Acuna, Juan Soto,
Yep.
Byron Buxton,
Yes.
Very
Beans
underrated
Rice,
outfielder.
Jesus Christ, and Byron.
Yes.
Mookie Betts. I mean, there's just so many that it's just tough to even make a top 10. Like, I'm going through the outfields in my head and I'm like, all right, who gets it? Who doesn't get it?
All right. So another one you got to throw in there, right? Or at least that, in my opinion, you got to throw in there. Julio.
Yep.
Julio, yeah.
He's young, but he showed up last year.
He did show up. He was a big spark in that Mariners run that they had.
And then who would you throw in at the 10?
That's I don't know. There are just so many names.
No
Let's see.
Brandon Nimmo.
I was gonna say, would you throw Nimmo maybe?
I mean, you
Possibly
could
get
make
that
an
top spot?
argument for Nimmo.
Would you throw Harrison Bader?
I wouldn't throw Bader personally.
I mean, there's
I mean, he does have a really good glove. He's got a lot of range and he's fast.
Now,
I would throw Nimmo,
Jazz
and you
Chisholm's
could
an
make that
outfielder.
argument.
Mhm.
That's true. I was thinking about Jazz.
Yeah.
He's like, you like Jazz? Everybody likes Jazz.
Everyone
You like
likes
Jazz?
You like Jazz? You could make an argument for Nimmo. I just didn't want to get called for bias on my list. So,
No,
but you know what?
that's
Screw it.
perfectly fine.
Nimmo is beautiful.
Happiest player in baseball.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love also watching him hustle. I mean, he is one of a kind. So now, on a little bit shorter of a list, I want you, if you were to manage a baseball team, and you were to have a starting rotation of 5 players, who would you throw in that rotation?
Number 1, Jacob deGrom. I hate him for leaving, but it's a business.
He's the GOAT.
At the end of the day, he's number 1 on my list. Injury free, he's number 1 on my list. Clayton Kershaw, because I love Clayton Kershaw. Reliable until you get to the postseason, but who cares? That's why you have 4 other starters. Sandy Alcantara,
That's a good
big
one.
year
Love that.
this
one.
past year. I like him a lot. Shohei, again, because, you can throw him out there.
Absolutely.
And then, who's my dark horse? My number 5 starter.
Maybe a
Reliable guy.
Kodai Senga.
I do
I
like
would
a
love
Kodai
to put
Senga,
him on
but
there,
I'd like
but
to
I just want to
see.
see how he does against.
He
Major
hasn't
League
even
players.
touched a major league field
Yeah,
yet.
I mean he's had great years in in Japan, but I just want to see what he does against major league pitching because Japanese hitting is different
Yeah, I mean, hey,
Yeah.
no doubt about that.
and
but
Japanese pitching is different.
But
so.
hey, you're also forgetting another Mets pitcher, 2 of them. That
Max
had won
Scherzer
Cy
and
Young.
Justin Verlander.
and Verlander, yeah. I keep
I
forgetting
know,
that those two are freaking Mets right now.
Yeah,
I had those 2 and DeGrom are on my list, and I was like, all right, I'm going to pick one because I don't need 3 38-plus-year-old guys on my rotation.
Now
So-
for a 5th or 6th starter, right? Could you put Nasty Nestor on there?
Oh, absolutely.
I
I love him.
I love him too.
I do really
I love watching him
Nasty
pitch.
Nestor.
That one, so happy they were able to go to that one game to watch him pitch.
So he is no longer going to be competing in the World Baseball Classic.
That's
That's true. He did have a couple hamstrings.
it is a shame, yeah.
So, unfortunately, he won't be in that. But hey,
Good for him. Let him get healthy. Come back strong next season for the Yankees.
By the way, did you see the controversy with Acuna Jr. with the baseball classic?
no, I did not.
It's crazy.
No, I did not.
So he was eligible and supposed to be on Team Venezuela, right? He's been
Yeah.
playing in the Venezuelan league for a while, and he I think for medical reasons maybe or some other reasons he was going to withdraw from the World Baseball Classic, and while he was in the Venezuelan league, he was getting like shit from like the fans and everything, and he hit the first at bat after that news came out, hit a bomb. And it took him over a minute to run around the bases.
I remember. I've seen that video.
Went
That
nuts.
was.
And then in the stands, bro, fans were literally fighting his family. They were literally going after his family. A brawl broke out in the stands with his family and the fans of Venezuela.
That's a little crazy.
Like,
but I mean,
what?
we all know how these teams get. Well, how these fans get, because this is their team representing their nation.
Oh yeah,
it's the same with like the World Cup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
they have your country's name written across your chest. They will do anything.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hey, us in USA. I mean, you know.
Absolutely.
And then, so like at that point he was still gonna withdraw, and then suddenly he posts a picture on Instagram that he's on Venezuela.
Okay.
Hey
and
man, maybe he had second thoughts.
And he was like talking, like he was saying a bunch of shit for like the Venezuelan fans and stuff like that because of what they did to his family and everything and blah blah blah.
I mean, I probably would too.
And like it's a bunch of other things where like it was just making it controversial, like just for no reason. And then I'm playing for them. Okay.
Wow, what are you gonna do?
It was crazy. Like I saw it on TikTok. It was insane. I definitely would look it up and check it out because it was crazy. It was crazy.
That's interesting.
Well, Tony, we were talking earlier on the show about the last call in the Super Bowl, on that holding call, James Bradbury and Juju Smith-Schuster. If we were talking about if this situation with the refs, gets a little out of hand, what might the NFL possibly do? What's your opinion on the situation?
They will do nothing because that's what they do. But I don't know. I don't know where you go from there. I mean, Sydney's going to hate me for saying this, but they made the right call. They 100% did. I mean, even if you have James Bradbury saying after the game that they made the right call, I mean, Philly fans, you just got to suck it up and go on with your life. I mean, come on. It's not anybody's fault that your soccer team lost the championship, your baseball team lost the World Series, and your football team lost the Super Bowl.
It's
I mean, come on.
That, the soccer and baseball team lost
isn't that crazy?
The same day.
On the same day they lost their championships, and then the Eagles lost the Super Bowl.
All in the last 100 days. It's been a terrible 100 days for Philadelphians and Pennsylvanians, but
folks,
I would say
suck it up, buttercup, and go to work tomorrow.
Well, folks,
come on.
If we don't see Tony anytime in the future, we know what happened. Sydney got to him.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, somebody had to say it, all right? I mean, come on.
Well, hey.
Someone's sleeping in the doghouse tonight.
But hey, last thing I want to ask you here, Tony, on the show is Mahomes, obviously the best quarterback in the NFL right now.
Absolutely.
No question about
Without
it.
a doubt.
Is he now in the conversation to be of the GOAT? Can he now?
I think this gets him one step closer.
If he continues what he's doing.
Because Brady had 5 MVPs and 7 Super Bowl rings, right?
Yes.
I think so.
And Mahomes has 2 and 2. So he's getting there. He's one step closer, but I think...
You think he needs one more?
Yes. I think one more. One more, and then like this generation he's the GOAT of like this heap of ball players.
Yeah, I mean,
like
you're right, Slomo.
Brady ruled the roost for 23 years. Oh, absolutely, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer already.
Hey, I think,
or if he retired tomorrow, he's in the Hall.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think though that if he plays for 15 years, which is practically a little over half of Brady's career, right? He played an extra 8 years. I think that Mahomes really does have the possibility of being very, very close with all of the achievements that Brady does have. Might not come close to the Super Bowls. No one might ever. Who do you know besides Bill Russell to win that many, championships. Bill
Yeah,
Russell didn't
it's,
even win that many, I don't think. No, I believe he did. I believe he won like 10. But
It's gonna be interesting to watch because Brady ruled the roost for 23 years, and Mahomes has already been in the league for 5. He just won a second Super Bowl. He's got a good squad. Like Kansas City's making it work. They lose Tyreek Hill, and they get back to the Super Bowl. They had a better offense than they did with Tyreek Hill, so they will always be able to find a way to win. You just think one more for Mahomes. He's definitely the GOAT now that Brady's retired. If he gets to 5 or more, then you can put him in a Brady conversation.
so now let me ask you this: 15 years from now, Mahomes retires. He comes close to all of the accolades that Brady has. Does Brady still reign the GOAT because he beat Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl?
That is That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
It would definitely make for a good debate.
Uh,
I don't have an answer right now. My gut doesn't even have an answer right now. But I think that you could make a very strong argument for Mahomes because of what Mahomes can do with his legs. Brady was never really that mobile. So that adds another element to Mahomes. But that just shows how different of ball players that they are,
yeah, absolutely.
which is a good thing.
Hey,
It's a good thing.
the sport of football should be very excited for its future. The NFL will prosper no matter what happens with their players or with the refs or with the
Absolutely.
game. It will prosper. Too many people love it. It's too much of an entertainment aspect in our lives, in Americans' lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Uh,
The group of ball players that we have today, this past year, this upcoming years, it's a good group to watch. They are incredible at what they do. And the AFC is spoiled with all of these quarterbacks that they have.
Oh my God,
Absolutely.
yeah.
It's
You
like
gotta think.
there's so much young talent in AFC quarterbacks that every single year it could be a different team
Hey,
representing the AFC in the Super Bowl.
you got to think. Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts are going to end up drafting a quarterback in the draft this year. So they're going to have good young talent, and that's 2 more young good quarterbacks into the division, into the AFC.
Yeah. At this point, if you look at like quarterback lists, the AFC is we'll start with the NFC. The NFC is the toy that you've had for 5 years. It still gets the job done, but you're just kind of tired of playing with it. And the AFC is the toy that your best friend just got yesterday, and you're like, hey man, I want that. But you can't have it. That's how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
That's a
hey
great
Tony,
analogy.
I thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Yes.
It was
Thank
great
you,
talking
gentlemen.
to you.
It's been an honor to be here.
May I just make one request? But before I let you go ahead and before we let you go ahead and shout out or whatever, may we
I think
get
I already know what you want to hear.
a story from you?
I see what I can do. When should we begin? So today I woke up and I wanted some breakfast. I was like, what should I have for breakfast today? So I went to the pantry. I got some Cheerios because they are heart healthy, right? Always with the cholesterol. I was like, Cheerios is kind of boring. What can I do to make this a little bit better? So I found a banana. I took the banana, I cut it up, put it in my cereal, and every now and again when I would take a bite, I'd have a little surprise of a banana for breakfast. And let me tell you, amazing, wonderful.
Wow,
And that is it, yeah, I know.
that
Something.
that sounds so elegant.
Mm-hmm.
That sounded like it was a good hearty breakfast.
Exquisite.
Yeah, just stick a goddamn banana in your goddamn Cheerios. You'll be living for quite a while. Not sponsored. We're not sponsored. Don't ask.
Well, thank you.
We could be.
Thank you for coming once again. You want to go ahead and say any final words here?
Thanks for having me. It was great. Love what you guys do over here. excited to see what's in the store for the show in the future.
Well, thank you very much,
Hails
Tony.
to the yeah.
And you have a good night.
Yes, you too, gentlemen.
Good night, brother.
And good night.
Good night, everybody.
Well, thank you again, Tony, for coming on to the show. It was great to hear from you. I always love hearing about them damn bananas.
Damn bananas.
Yes, we have my wife going crazy in chat. Very well deserved. Bananas are the best story from Tony. Anytime he says it, it vibrates in and around my face. And I want nothing but more. So, any last words here on this great February 13th Monday night?
I mean, I'm excited about tomorrow. Me and the Pops are going to go see the Islanders play the Ottawa Senators. We'll be talking about it next
absolutely,
Monday.
yeah.
Hopefully more hockey news will be coming out. Also with MLB The Show, we will be talking about the gameplay features that they're going to be
Yes,
releasing
yes.
tomorrow at 2 Pacific Standard Time. So that's 5 o'clock here on the East Coast. So if you're interested in checking that out, check out
Yes,
Stay Diego
indeed.
Studios. We're excited to see that as well. And also maybe other drops from MLB as well.
Yes.
And maybe even more to talk about with Hogwarts Legacy.
Yes,
Because I'm
indeed.
going to be playing that all week whenever I have the time to. Especially,
I think we both will.
Oh, yeah. That is definitely on the list to come. So,
Well, I'm excited for next week.
oh, yeah.
Make sure you tune in next week, probably around the same time, about 6:15 Eastern Standard Time, Monday. That will be February the 20th. Folks, thank you for coming. Thank you for staying along and talking on this great Monday. I appreciate all y'all for coming. Y'all have a good Monday.
Have a good Monday and week to you.
Yeah, hey, enjoy the week. Be prosper. And don't let them bitches get you down. Adios.